Listen closely. It's 4:03 a.m., the kind of hour where even shadows seem to hold their breath. A small-town church in Texas sits silent, its halls bathed in the sickly glow of emergency lights. The air smells like rain and dread. Missy Bevers parks her car, humming a worship song. She's early, always early, to set up for her fitness class. But tonight, the routine is a death sentence. Somewhere inside, footsteps echo. Heavy, deliberate. A figure cloaked in SWAT gear, too broad, too slow, too wrong, prowls the corridors. They smash a door window. Glass shatters like a scream, but no one hears. No one comes. At 4:20 a.m., Missy walks into the trap. Her keys jingle. Her sneakers squeak. She doesn't see the glint of a hammer, doesn't hear the predator's breath catching in the dark. What happens next? The truth dies with her. And the killer? They vanish. A ghost. A riddle. A hole in the universe where justice should be. Years later, we're still screaming into that void. Who are you? Why her? Where are you now? This isn't a true crime story. It's a haunting. Let me tell you about Missy. Picture this. It's 5 a.m. and she's already blasting Katy Perry's Firework in her living room, dancing with her 3 daughters while scrambling eggs. Her laugh loud, unapologetic, the kind that made you laugh even if you didn't know the joke. She wasn't just a fitness instructor. She was the human equivalent of a sunrise, the mom who'd sneak veggies into smoothies and call it unicorn fuel, the coach who'd text her class the night before, "Don't you dare hit snooze tomorrow. We're gonna crush it." Her life was sticky notes and soccer practices, messy buns and Bible verses. She'd spend hours planning themed workouts for her church group. Armor of God boot camp, complete with toy swords and shields. Her students weren't just clients. They were her tribe. Missy didn't just teach burpees. One friend said, "She made you believe you were warrior." But April 18th, 2016, didn't care about any of that. Midlothian, Texas, a town where doors stay unlocked and neighbors wave at passing cars, became the stage for a horror story nobody saw coming. That morning, Missy left her family sleeping. She kissed her husband's goodbye note on the fridge, grabbed her favorite water bottle, the one with her daughter's doodles, drove to Creekside Church. Same as always, she had no idea she'd never see her girls again. No idea that in the dark, someone was waiting, someone who'd reduce her light to a crime scene photo, someone who'd turn her name into a mystery. Missy's daughters are teenagers now. They have her laugh, her stubbornness, but every birthday, every graduation, every mom, "I wish you were here," whispered into the dark. That's the cost of a killer's silence. Her case isn't cold, it's frozen, and somewhere out there, the monster who did this is still breathing the same air as you and me. Asterisk. This is where faith collides with evil. Asterisk. The church security footage is a horror movie without an ending. 3:50 a.m. A figure bulky, anonymous, swathed in SWAT gear that doesn't fit right, strides through the halls. Not rushing, not panicking, like they've rehearsed this. A hammer swings lazily in their grip. Glass explodes as they smash a door window. Shards rain down like diamonds. But this isn't a robbery. This isn't random. This is a ritual. They know the layout. They know the blind spots. They pause at the fitness room, Missy's room, and linger, testing the door, peering inside, waiting. Is this where they planned to kill her? Or did fate twist the knife? 4:16 a.m. Missy's headlights slice through the parking lot fog. She's laughing on the phone with a friend. "Gonna be a killer workout today," she jokes. The irony stains the air. Her keys jingle as she unlocks the side door. The killer hears it, freezes, adjusts their gloves. 4:20 a.m. The cameras catch her walking in, ponytail bouncing, water bottle in hand. She doesn't see the shadow rounding the corner, doesn't hear the hammer's metallic creak as it's raised. The last frame shows her turning, eyes wide, mouth open, then the footage dies. What the cameras don't show, the struggle, the hammer swinging, a mother's scream smothered by these holy walls, the killer's breath ragged. Excited as they stand over her, the way they stepped around her blood, careful not to leave footprints. The final insult, they took nothing, stole nothing, just her life. And then, they walked out. No sprint, no panic, just a slow, almost casual stroll into the dawn, leaving Missy alone in the dark, leaving us with one question seared into our souls. Was this personal? Or was it practice? Asterisk. Let's talk about the clues. Not the kind that solve crimes, the kind that mock them. The killer didn't just murder Missy Bevers. They scripted it. Start with the SWAT gear. Police found it stuffed in a church bathroom trash can fake. Cheap tactical padding. A helmet too large. Boots squeaking with discount store soles. A costume. A disguise. But here's the twist. It wasn't bought online. Wasn't stolen. This was homemade. Hand-stitched seams. Modified straps. Someone spent weeks crafting this charade. Not for a robbery. Not for a thrill. For her. And the hammer? Oh, that's the punchline. It came from the church's own tool closet. A rusty, forgotten thing meant for hanging picture frames of Bible verses. The killer didn't bring a weapon. They used hers. Her workplace. Her tools. As if to say, I'll kill you with the scraps of your own life. But here's where the joke turns vicious. No fingerprints. Not on the hammer. Not on the gear. Not even a sweat stain. They wore gloves. Sure, but this was cleaner. Surgical. As if the killer dissolved as they walked away. And the DNA? A big, fat zero. No hair. No skin flakes. No spit. Nothing. Just the lingering stench of arrogance. Except they did leave one clue. A clue that's haunted investigators for years. Their walk. Watch the footage. Really watch it. That sway in their hips. The way they shift weight like a sailor on deck. Some say it's a man pretending to limp. Others swear it's a woman exaggerating a swagger. Forensic gait analysts tore it apart. Could be 5 feet 8 inches to 6 feet 2 inches. They said, could be 150 pounds or 220. Could be anyone. A neighbor. A stranger. A pastor. A parent. But the darkest clue? The timing. Missy's husband, Brandon, was 600 miles away. His alibi? Rock solid. But here's what curdles your blood. The killer knew the church's alarm code had been changed that week. Knew Missy would arrive alone at 4:20 a.m. Knew the cameras would cut out right on schedule. How? Was it someone in her orbit? A friend who liked her a little too much? A gym rival festering with jealousy? Or a stranger who'd stalked her for months? Learning her routines like a twisted bedtime story? And then there's the taunting. The way they wandered the halls before she arrived. Smashing doors. Dragging the hammer along the walls like a child's toy. They wanted the cameras to see. Wanted us to know they were fearless. Untouchable. This wasn't just a murder. It was a performance. And we're all still clapping. So let's ask the ugly questions. Why SWAT gear? To intimidate? To confuse? Or to fulfill some sick power fantasy? Why leave the costume behind? A mistake? Or a trophy? Catch me if you can. Why let Missy's students find her body? A final act of cruelty? Here's what we know. The killer is a ghost with a hammer. A shadow who melted into the Texas dawn. They're someone's co-worker. Someone's spouse. Someone's friend. And they're laughing. Because every expert theory collapses under its own weight. It was a hitman. But who hires a pro who leaves the weapon behind? It was a woman. Then why the broad shoulders in the footage? It was random. Then why the meticulous planning? The truth? This wasn't a crime of passion. This was a statement. And until we crack it, the killer wins. They're out there. Right now. Maybe reading this. Maybe smirking. Maybe wearing gloves as they text their spouse. Good night. Love you. Maybe dreaming of the next time they'll stroll into a holy place and turn it into hell. Let me tell you about the day the world split in two. Asterisk April 18th, 2016, 5:30 a.m. Missy's daughters, ages 13, 11, and 9, wake up to a silent house. No Katy Perry blasting. No smell of eggs. Just their grandmother sitting at the kitchen table. Face ashen. Phone trembling in her hand. Where's Mom? They ask. Is she still at work? But Grandma can't speak. Can't move. The truth is a knife lodged in her throat. 3 hours later, the news vans swarm their street. Neighbors peek through blinds. Kids whisper on school buses. Did you hear? Missy's dead. Someone killed her at the church. The Bevers' front porch drowns in casseroles and teddy bears. A shrine of sympathy no one knows how to face. Brandon, Missy's husband, races home from his fishing trip in Louisiana. He's still wearing his world's best dad hat when detectives strip him for DNA. Where were you? They ask. Prove it. His alibi checks out. But guilt doesn't care about facts. Guilt is the voicemail he'll play 1,000 times. Hey babe, just got to the cabin. Catch you tomorrow. Love you. Meanwhile, Her daughters, oh God. Her daughters. The youngest stuffs Missy's workout tank under her pillow. She wears it until the sweat stains fade. The middle girl stops speaking for 6 months. Just stops. The oldest, now the woman of the house, learns to cook dinners her mom never taught her. Burnt grilled cheese. Salty spaghetti. It's okay. She tells her sisters, we'll figure it out. But at night, she Googles how to know if your dad is a murderer and signs your parent is in heaven. And the town, Midlothian, Texas, population 8,000, where everyone knows your dog's name and your grandma's pie recipe, becomes a nest of paranoia. Parents walk kids to school. Deadbolts click at dusk. The church cancels fitness classes. Too soon, they say. But it's not about grief. It's about fear. Fear that the killer isn't done. Fear that they're hiding behind a PDA smile or a Sunday sermon. Missy's father, James, becomes a ghost. He visits the church every dawn, same time she died, paces the halls, touches the dent in the wall where the hammer struck. Why her? He rasps to detectives. Take me instead. Just take me. But the detectives have nothing. Tips pour in. A drifter seen at a gas station. A scorned ex-boyfriend. But they evaporate like steam. Suspects. There are dozens. Evidence? None. The church elders vote to renovate. Paint over the bloodstains. Replace the shattered doors. But the congregation rebels. This is where a mother died, someone shouts at a town hall. You don't get to erase that. So the church stands frozen. A tombstone. A warning. Teens dare each other to sprint through its halls at midnight. They swear they've heard footsteps, heavy, deliberate, echoing behind them. Years pass. The casseroles stop. The news vans leave. Missy's daughters grow up. The oldest graduates high school. She wears her mom's necklace under her gown. The middle girl finally speaks again, but only in therapy. The youngest writes letters to heaven. Mom, I got my period. Aunt Jenny helped. I wish it was you. Brandon remarries. The town judges him for it. Too fast. They mutter. Guilty conscience. His new wife tries to bake Missy's famous peanut butter cookies. They crumble. The girls don't eat them. And the killer? They're at the grocery store. They're at the county fair. They're in line at the bank, tapping their foot to a hymn on the radio. They're everywhere. Nowhere. Midlothian pretends to heal. But some wounds don't close. They fester. You see it in the way parents clutch kids' hands a little tighter at Walmart. In the way pastors avoid sermons about God's plan. In the way Missy's friends jump at the sound of breaking glass. Her case file? It's dust now. Detectives retire. Leads die. The only thing left is a voicemail. The one Missy sent her dad the night before she died. Hey Dad. Thanks for watching the girls. Gonna crush this class tomorrow. Love you. He plays it every night before bed. Every night. And the killer? They're out there. Breathing. Laughing. Living. While a family's heartbeats count down the days until someone, anyone, cares enough to listen. But here's the cruelest truth of all. This isn't a story about a murder. It's a story about what murder steals. First a life, then a family, then a town, until all that's left is a question. How many more ghosts will this killer create? And a plea. Don't let Missy become just another name on a cold case website. Let her be the spark that burns the shadow into light. Let's play a game. Look around you. Right now. The person bagging your groceries. The neighbor walking their dog. The stranger in the car beside you at a red light. One of them could be a killer. Not just any killer, the killer. The one who butchered Missy Bevers in a house of God and vanished like smoke. Because here's the truth. This wasn't a crime. It was a magic trick. And we're all still staring at the empty hat, waiting for the rabbit to scream. Theory 1, the jealous rival. Picture a woman, late 30s, blonde. Let's call her Sarah. She teaches Zumba at the rec center. Her classes? Empty. Missy's? Packed. Armor of God boot camp stole her clients. Her confidence. Her sanity. She starts showing up to Missy's sessions, lurking in the back, clapping a little too hard. You're so inspiring, she gushes. But her Instagram? A graveyard of deleted posts, photos of Missy's car, Missy's house, Missy's daughters. The week before the murder, she buys a SWAT costume on eBay, returns it the next day. Just a Halloween joke, she tells the cashier. But the church's floor plan? Taped to her fridge. The alarm code? Scribbled on a napkin. After the murder, she moves to Arizona, changes her name, starts a new life. But some say she still whispers Missy in her sleep. Theory 2, the hit gone wrong. Imagine a text message. $10K. Make it messy. The client? A man. Mid-50s. Let's call him Frank. He's having an affair with Missy. Or maybe she threatened to expose his embezzlement at the church. He hires a hitman, a tweaker named Derek, who watches too many CSI reruns. Derek botches it. He's supposed to kill the pastor, not the fitness instructor. Gets the time wrong, the target wrong, the everything wrong. He panics, dumps the SWAT gear, flees to Mexico. But Frank, he pays anyway. Mistakes happen. He says, now he's a deacon, leads Bible study, prays for Missy's soul every Sunday. And Derek? He's buried in the desert. A theory that dies with him. Theory 3, the random psychopath. This is the one that keeps detectives awake. The killer isn't a rival, isn't a hitman. They're a void, a black hole in human skin. They pick Missy at random. No reason, no motive, just hunger. They've done it before. A Jane Doe in Oklahoma, a vanished jogger in Arkansas. Missy's murder is a hobby, a craft. They spend months stalking churches. Not people, learning alarm codes, testing door locks. The SWAT gear, a fetish. The hammer, a signature. They're already hunting again. Right now, in a town just like yours. Prowling a daycare, a library, a yoga studio, waiting for the cameras to blink. Theory 4, the something darker. Now we slither into the shadows. What if the killer wasn't alone? What if it was a couple, a husband and wife, bonding over bloodshed, or a father-son duo? A lesson in control. Dad says, what if the SWAT gear hides a woman's curves? A pastor's daughter, raised on hellfire and punishment, who thinks Missy's armor of God workouts blaspheme the Bible. Or a transgender man, his gait altered by binding, his rage misdirected? Or worse, what if it's a cop, someone who knew how to scrub evidence, who coached detectives toward dead ends, who still carries the hammer in their trunk, just in case? The unspoken theory, it's you, not literally you, but someone like you, someone who's watched this video 3 times, someone who's Googled Missy Bevers' hammer at 2 a.m., someone who laughs a little too hard at true crime memes. The killer isn't a monster. They're a mirror, and the reflection is rotting. Here's what we know. The killer walked with a swagger, or a limp, or a strut. They knew how to disable cameras without tripping alarms. They left a trail of nothing, no DNA, no fibers, no mistakes. They're smart, patient, proud, and they're not done. Because here's the secret no one wants to say out loud. The first kill is practice. The second is art. So let's ask the real question. Has it already happened again? Was there another church? Another small town? Another Missy? A body buried where the police don't think to look? A case labeled accidental? A family told closure isn't guaranteed? The truth? We'll never know. Not until the killer wants us to. Not until they slip up. But here's the problem with monsters who treat murder as a game. They level up. So tonight, when you double-check your door locks, when you peek through the blinds at a passing car, when you jump at the creak of your house settling, ask yourself, are they watching? Are they learning? Are they here? And when you tuck your kids into bed, when you kiss your spouse goodnight, when you pray to a God that let Missy die alone, say it with me, who's next? Where? When? Because the clock is ticking. The SWAT gear is cleaned. The hammer is polished. And the church is always empty before dawn. There's a voicemail Missy's dad still keeps. Hey Dad, thanks for watching the girls. Gonna crush this class tomorrow. Love you. He plays it every night. Same time, same words, same hope that maybe. Somehow, she'll answer. But she won't. Missy's case isn't a puzzle. It's a wound, a scream that echoes in an empty room. Her daughters are grown now. They have her smile, her stubbornness. But they don't have her. No mom at graduation. No hugs before first dates. No one to whisper, you'll be okay. When the world feels heavy, just silence. Her killer isn't hiding. They're living. Maybe coaching Little League. Maybe bagging your groceries. Maybe sitting in a church pew. Head bowed. Hands clean. Every anniversary article. Every true crime podcast. Every will never give up. Tweet from police, it's just noise. Her family doesn't want thoughts. They want answers. Her friends don't want prayers. They want justice. But the world moves on. The church locked its doors. The detectives retired. The town stopped saying her name. But here's what keeps clawing at the dark. Why her? Why here? Why us? There's no monster under the bed, no ghost in the attic, just a person who chose hate, a person who got away with it. So we tell ourselves, maybe they're dead, maybe they're sorry, but the truth is worse. They're alive, they're free, and they don't care. Missy's grave is covered in flowers. Her killer's is covered in lies. And every day we stay silent. Every time we look away, we let the lie grow. So tonight, when you turn off the lights, when you kiss your kids goodnight, when you think, this could never happen to me, say her name, Missy. Say it like a prayer. Say it like a curse. Say it until the shadows start to squirm. Because somewhere out there, the killer is listening, and they're afraid of the light. Look at the person next to you. Really look. That coworker who always brings donuts. That neighbor who waves every morning. That friend who laughs a little too loud. One of them is lying. Missy's killer isn't a monster in a mask. They're someone's dad, someone's wife, someone's hero. They shop where you shop, drive the roads you drive. They know how to blend in, how to smile, how to hide. But here's the truth that twists the knife. They're terrified. Every knock on their door, every siren that passes, every time someone shares this video, they wonder, is today the day? So do it. Share this story. Say her name, Missy. Scream it until their ears bleed, until their hands shake, until they slip up. Because the answer is out there. In a dusty attic box. In a drunken confession. In a guilty Google search. Someone knows. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's them. Maybe it's the person watching this right now. Sweating through their shirt. Don't look away. Don't stay silent. Don't let the darkness win. Missy's killer is breathing. But so are we. And we're louder. The killer may be hiding in the light, but shadows don't last forever. Share her name. Break the silence. Before the next scream is yours.